So for anybody that didn't hear, KW Cares raffle tickets are being sold at the front. I'm going to start the official meeting in a moment. But if you need to get up now before everybody is seated, so you can go buy raffle tickets, I will tell you the prizes in just a moment. This was just my excuse to get everybody through their conversations and focus. Okay, hi. Welcome everybody to your first meeting at the Mission Valley location. It's so nice to see you all. We are very excited to be here in Mission Valley. So we will be having our meetings here going forward. I know a couple people have asked me, so June 7th will be our official day that we'll be moved out of the Baker Hill location. If you need to coordinate anything, please get in touch with Nancy. Otherwise, you will continue to receive information about all of the dates, printer setup, all of that stuff. We're going to keep emailing people out. So that information is coming to you, but June 7th will be our official date that we're out. Nancy is also sending out a checklist that Broker Bob put together so that you can go update your information in the MLS. Any business information that you need to transfer over, you're getting that checklist as well. Let's start by welcoming some people to our family. So welcome to Deanna and to Jabe and to Myrna. Welcome everybody. So welcome to all of our new associates, and we have some bucket fills that I want to start with. I'm going to ask some of these people to come up really quickly. So these are our partners who have contributed to the KW Cares raffle and who have been supporting us. So please come up. Eric Gilman, Sharp Retention. Yay. Come on. And David, come on up, you three. And while you're up here, if you don't mind just saying who you are, the company you work with, so all of our lovely agents know how to support you in return. You go first.
Okay, cool. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Eric. I'm the sharpest guy you know, here with Cutco Gifts. And, it's going to be a great day when the knife guy shows up. So to be here, our team specializes in helping you stay branded forever. We engrave your name and logo on a high-quality American-made Cutco knife. Show of hands, who has one of those in your home? Love it. Beautiful. Well, I'm just grateful to be here with all of this amazing new-ish, but new combined location. Really exciting and most definitely a new chapter of the KW Metro life. And I am having a contest for the month of June. My goal is to break a personal record. I've been selling knives and changing lives for 17 years, so it's time to break a record for June. And so anyone who orders in the month of June is going to get entered in a drawing for $500 worth of free Cutco, because the only thing in the whole world better than Cutco is free. Oh, baby, I love it here. Thank y'all. I'm sure.
Hi, I'm Mona with Old Republic Home Protection. I'm your warranty girl. So if you have any questions or need anything, call me. I'll do one-on-one, and we'll get a group together and do all kinds of things to show you how I can help you get out and market and brand your stuff with tools that we have. So welcome to your new office. I love it.
And good afternoon, I'm David Eastridge with Hawthorne and Albatross. We are your San Diego-based investment company. We specialize in distressed properties, renovating them and putting them back on the market, and also working with great agents like you who bring us the deal, and we relist with you as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you. So just so you guys know, the goal was for KW Cares, each market center across the country, we were trying to raise $870 to set all of us up for success. And for those that haven't had the experience of going through something where we use KW Cares, it is a 501(c)(3) charity that is for Keller Williams agents. So agents supporting agents. Anytime there's a natural disaster or a personal emergency, it's a place where our agents can go and get scholarships from the KW Cares organization to get back on their feet. So it is super cool. We'll post a link on our Facebook page. There's a video where you can go watch the stories of some of the people that have received these grants from KW Cares. I'm not a crier, and every single time I hear about a story, it's phenomenal. So that's what we're supporting, that's what this raffle is going towards. And all of these wonderful humans up on the screen have helped us support that goal, and all of you that have participated in the raffle are also supporting that goal. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
Can I add something?
You absolutely can. Please do.
So, KW Cares is something that's really powerful for anybody in need. And it's not just now that we should be raising money. We want to think about that as a long-term gift opportunity. And every time you close a deal, you can work with the office, you can work with Nancy or Ari to automatically have it taken out of your commission.
Yep.
So you never even actually miss it, but you end up helping and benefiting. So like for instance, and you can give $10, $20, $40, $100, however much you want every single time. And it just makes it so easy for everyone and helps sustain this amazing organization.
Thank you, Brian. Yep, absolutely. We're always happy to help. So this is fun. I like getting to do this. I like getting to do the celebrations part. This is always enjoyable. So for those of you that know, we started doing Agent of the Month last month, and Gaga was the recipient last month, and she got an office, right? Right. And now that we're in this beautiful space, I didn't have a physical office I could put our Agent of the Month in, but we still really wanted to recognize someone. So for this person, we are going to waive a month of their office bill. So talk to Nancy about that. But part of what we are looking to do is see the agents that have been, and all of you are working hard, but for some people, we see this moment where you've been working hard, and it's like this little crack, and then we see you kind of burst through. So for June, our Agent of the Month, we saw an explosion in your business. We are super proud of all of your hard work. And we also know, even though technically you're the Agent of the Month, we know that's So congratulations, you guys. We're super proud of you. And you guys will be the June Agent of the Month. So well done.
Thank them too.
Yes. All the good things. Okay, what's up next is Mission Valley here on Friday. They're doing photos. Evie said there's 3 spots left, so if you need your headshot, please reach out to Evie and get that scheduled. But it will be here in this office, and those are the 3 times that are available. Evie's email is up there, so if you need a headshot, take that down, or ask us and we'll get that over to you. Okay, this is your moment. If you haven't entered the raffle, just so you know, some people were asking me what some of the prizes are. So if you buy the $5 raffle ticket that we're drawing at the end of today's meeting, there is a coaching session with Sarah. There is 2 months of office bill waived. There is a $100 Cutco gift card from Eric Gilman. And there is a photo session with Erin from Storefront Creative. So a free headshot or whatever you need to do with Erin. In the $50 raffle prize pool, there is a coaching and lunch session with Ashley at the University Club. Very lovely. And you also have a numerology personality profile with Roger Bach. So those are the 2 prizes in your $50 pool. So act now, we'll pull that at the end.
Did you hit the goal?
What's that?
Wasn't there a goal?
I will give away a little bit of the drama that we did hit the goal. We have made that with the contributions we've had so far and with what we have here in the raffle. So yes, we already know we've reached the goal. I don't know what the amount is, but I'm going to secretly sneak out while Evie is doing risk management and see if I can get the actual dollar total of where we're at.
Okay.
But yes, it is fun to hit the goal. Mortgage.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So let's just stand up here. So a couple of things, you guys, that we've been noticing on our side of doing loans. there's a couple of holdups right now when we're doing a loan and when anybody else is doing a loan. I don't know if you guys have experienced it. Have you tried to get homeowners insurance recently? So it's not just me? All right, good. The industry is a disaster, you guys. Like, there's so many companies that are leaving California, and people are trying to use their old companies, like Farmers, for instance, not writing in California anymore. And then all of a sudden you're going back to your old company trying to get a new policy, and they won't write it anymore, right? So it's taking some time. They're now underwriting all these policies up front. They're not just giving us evidence of insurance like the good old days. Like, we would call up and like an hour later I would have the EOI. Not anymore. So now it's taken 3, 4, 5 days, a week to get that policy. So it's something that's really important, especially if we're doing a quick escrow. Like, we have a 14-day escrow, right? We have to order condo docs on top of that. It's another big holdup right now in our industry is condo associations that just suck. Excuse my language. But they are just so slow. Like, we've been chasing this one company, 14-day escrow. We ordered it the day before we got into escrow, and they just got it to us today. And this was 15 days ago. So we had to go a day over, but we've been chasing these people every single day for 2 weeks to get us an insurance policy on the condo association. So I just want you guys to be aware, if you guys are getting into escrow, especially on a condo, right, make your clients get their insurance policies ASAP. Order it like day one and pound it into them like, hey, you need to go shopping immediately. Like, if we're getting into escrow, go do it now. And then make sure that lender is ordering your condo docs like right off the bat. We have a pre-submit department, which a lot of you guys know. We can check out these condo complexes. If you guys are thinking about making offers, if you're taking a listing, we will do the research property for you. Just let me know what the property name is, what the address is. Shoot me an email and I'll submit it, and I'll have our condo department tell you FHA, VA, whatever it is, if they have any issues here, so what to look out for. So that's my 2 cents for the week. Yes.
Do you know who is writing?
I don't. Definitely not going to pretend to be an insurance agent.
Yes.
No. I have an insurance broker I've worked with for over a decade, and she's awesome. And she bounces back and forth between a whole bunch of different places, but
Okay.
she'll shop around and help me find the best deal out there. So if you guys need a referral, please let me know. I'll gladly share information with you. Lastly, Moving Mondays this week is going to be on non-qualified mortgages. So it's mortgage like 501. All right. This is stuff that's outside the box, not conventional, not jumbo, not FHA or VA. These are weird mortgages out there that help us. And I say weird because they're weird to everybody else. But they help us make things happen for people that don't fit into a regular box.
NAR has put out an advisory that I'll post on the Facebook group today. It's already up there. To give to your buyers about how to find insurance in this market. It gives them some ideas. NAR's aware of it, the legislature's aware of it. They're working on stuff behind the scenes, but it probably won't happen until the end of the year when it gets cleaned up. The insurance companies are playing bullies with the legislature, so they're trying to get it fixed.
Isn't it because the insurance commissioner in California is politically appointed? Does that have something to do with it?
I have no idea. All I just know is the impact that's having on our loans, and I want to make sure I express that to all of you guys, and so we're all on the same team and speak to our clients and get them on the ball right away. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome. Thank you. So from Escrow Partners, we have 2 agent spotlights this week. So we wanted to recognize Karine Isidoro, who is currently in escrow, and she couldn't be here today. She says hello to everyone. And Maggie Clemens, who recently opened escrow and is getting all of that process today. So we want to recognize both of them. The update from Escrow Partners, they are physically still located in the office right outside in Baker's Hill, just across from where our old front door is. They're still going to be there probably for another month or 2. So if you physically need to go in and see Nicole, they're going to be there probably until the end of July, and then they'll be moving to this building. So for right now, grab her. She's still available. Same email, same phone. You can still get in touch with her for your net sheets or any marketing that you need. Let me know. So we're all still up and operating, and eventually we will physically be here as well. So congratulations, Karine and Maggie. Coach Alicia.
We have some exciting things happening. Do we have a microphone or no? Nope.
No.
Okay. So of course, Sam and Yanni opened another escrow. They're up here every week. Sam's actually on a listing appointment right now, so fingers crossed. Carrie closed her first escrow with us, and it was actually her own listing. And then next we have Erica, who closed her second listing with us. She's only been with us for like 4 months, and that was her second listing already. And then I think Steve is.
Do I do that, Steve?
Oh, there you go.
So Gary on my team is a brand new agent. He does estate sale on the side, and he's really utilized that to make some action happen. We just signed right now a $2.35 million listing in Solana Beach. Really proud of him, and also hopefully today is signing another one at $1.4 million as well.
Wow.
So, go Gary.
Congratulations to everybody who's getting those deals done. We love to see that. Is there something next? No, we're just gonna stay there. If you have property pitches, if there's time at the end, I'll ask them otherwise, throw them on the Facebook page, but I have been told to give BB all of the time since so much is happening. Let me grab, let's see, do we have another presentation on here for you?
Yes, and Essence has to switch it. Is that okay?
Sorry, will you tell Essence to let us know how to switch this over? It's beyond my pay. I don't know how to do these things. Raffle ticket, anyone? Last chance. The other thing I will tell you guys is we posted on the Facebook page, if after being here you were like, oh, I would like to run an office, there is a QR code that we posted on our Facebook page that's an interest list that Nancy is collecting so that we know who's interested if we do get additional space in the building, who would want to have office space that they're renting here. So if you have that desire, go check out the Facebook page, there's a QR code.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's so nice everybody have a full belly. Was that some great food? Who brought the tri-tip? Because I had like 5 pieces of it.
So good.
Really good. Well, thank you whoever did. And the chocolate. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. And the way I'm going to look at this is the agenda, but it's probably going to be Q&A. Because I'm going to present a lot of stuff, and you guys are hearing a lot of stuff out in the industry, and we're going to try to condense it down to make it more understandable. So I have put out all the documents, Evie sent them out, that I'm going to review today, but I did not print them because it's just too much paperwork to print. But some of it will probably change until everything gets to where it needs to be. But let's get into the agenda because we've got a lot to talk about. The first thing that I want to review, did you guys figure it out? Okay, great. First thing I want to review is who asked me about SB 326 this week? My blog. You guys all know what that is?
Yes.
What is it?
No.
Tell us more, Bob.
What is it?
Older balconies need to be inspected and or repaired at the expense of the HOA property owner.
Did you all hear what Claudine said?
No.
No.
The older balconies on, she said HOAs, right? But it's actually condo buildings, because there's 2 separate Senate bills. The first one was SB 721. That took care of apartments. This is taking care of condos. So these are buildings or condos that you guys are going to sell. And so why this is important is all these condos have until January of 2024, January 1st of 2025, to get their buildings inspected to make sure the balconies cut the mustard. And here's the rub on this. You guys are probably selling some of these right now. So what you guys need to be aware of, if you are selling some of these older buildings that are dated somewhere maybe like 60s, 70s, you need to ask the question from the listing agent. Hopefully the listing agent has the information, or they've at least got the knowledge of what's going on with the HOA, and have they done their inspection? And if they've done their inspection, great. Then now they have 120 days from the date of the inspection to get the repairs in. So what can that mean for a condo? It could be an $8,000 to $10,000 assessment in some cases. So that's why if you're representing the buyer, you need to make sure that buyer You have that conversation. You need to go through the HOA docs. You need to see if the condo association has addressed it in the minutes of the meetings. And you need to know where they are in the process. Because the last thing you want to do is sell a condo and all of a sudden the new buyer finds out they got a $10,000, $15,000 assessment and they're pissed because you didn't guide them. And they come back and sue you and me and the brokerage and everybody else. They name everybody. And you got to cut a $15,000 E&O check, which you're not going to be happy with. So cover your butts on any condos. Ask those questions with the listing agents. If you're taking listings, same thing. You need to find out from the seller, what do you know about this? Has the HOA discussed it? Have they talked about assessments? The assessments are the last things that kind of pop up, and depends on how well the HOA is run. And it's really kind of since 2008, most HOAs have not recovered. They haven't. They had sellers in there that weren't paying their HOA dues. They went to foreclosure. They went to short sale. And HOAs are, who lives in an HOA? Who's ever been on an HOA? What do owners of the HOA, what do owners in a building never want the HOA to do? Yeah. They just keep kicking it down the road, kicking it down the road, kicking it down the road. And all of a sudden you can see an HOA that doesn't have any funding in their reserves or not enough. You're lucky if you see about, it's good if it's about 40, 50%.
Who's there? Who's at 40 or 50%?
I know, right? I know, right? Yeah, I mean, we're seeing like 10%. If it's like 10%, the bank might not do the loan. Got to be aware of that too. So these are a lot of the questions. I know you all want to get the sale. That makes sense. You're out there to make money selling homes. But the industry's wrought with professionals that aren't that good, present company excluded, good at doing the business. They don't know the questions to ask. And if you got a good listing agent, they're worth their weight in gold. And that listing agent has a lot of that information up front. They're disclosing it up front. They're putting it on the MLS's disclosures. And that's going to make your whole escrow process go a lot easier. Questions?
Isn't it balconies before 1980?
It is. Doesn't say on this. It just says all balconies. All exterior balconies. Joe?
What does the inspection tell? Is it like termites or is it structural?
It is. So it's an exterior elevated element which is defined as a balcony, deck, porch, stairway, walkway, entry structures that extend beyond exterior walls of the building, which has a walking surface that is elevated more than 6 feet above ground level and is designed for human occupancy or use. So your Juliet balcony that you have at your house, Joe, doesn't count. Nobody knows what a Juliet balcony is? You got Romeo and Juliet. She's outside the window and she's saying, Joe has people, he has his fan club. Where they're like, Joseph, work her out now. So, there is a CAR Q&A that was sent out to you to access. So you can access this and read it. So I recommend reading it so you look really knowledgeable when you go take that listing from that condo association condo owner.
And that's beginning now, correct?
It is begun, yes. They have until when? January 1st of 2025 to do the inspection. And they have 120 days from the inspection to do the repairs. You'll notice that there's repairs doing because you'll walk by and you'll see scaffolding in the building.
So is it the entire HOA that does the inspection?
It's the balcony. The HOA orders the inspection, and then the inspection company comes out and does the inspection.
But the HOA orders that. It's not up to the individual homeowner.
So apparently they may have to push it out the due date because there aren't enough people, enough inspectors.
Shocking. The legislature does shit and they don't plan for it. Okay. So this link, and also in the documents you were sent, this is the PowerPoint, but in the PowerPoint you can click on this to take you to this page. But I tried to put everything into like a synopsis about what all this is with the NAR updates and when everything's going to happen. So we know there's a settlement, and here's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. And we know that starting on a certain date is when you guys will now be working with buyer broker agreements. You can't take anybody out and show them the house unless you've sat them down, had a consultation, and signed a BRBC with them. And that date is?
August 17th.
August 17th. August 17th. So my recommendation now and advice is to start doing it now. Get in the habit of it. Even though the BRBC will be modified, it's going to come up with some changes to reflect the NAR settlement, but start using it now and start learning how to articulate your value now. Who took the value squared with Gary Keller? Okay. We're going to teach that here in the office too. I'm trying to condense it to like 2 hours because I know 3 you guys will be asleep. But I want to just do the bullet points in it to help you so you can start articulating your value for your principals that you're going to sit down with. What is the MLS policy changes? Obviously, we'll eliminate or prohibit the offer of compensation in the MLS. Doesn't mean we can't put it on our broker websites like kw.com. Will be a valuable tool that we can use to say what the seller is offering. And I think that's probably, when we came out with the clear cooperation policy, we always knew that agents would find a way around the law. And so they found their way around the clear cooperation policy. So it's going to eliminate all those broker compensation in the fields, and you can't filter anymore by commissions, which was part of the settlement and the thing that they claimed we were filtering by commissions. In San Diego, we were just trying to find inventory. And you have to disclose to the sellers and the prospects any commissions that are being offered. So you're going to learn how to articulate your value in your consultations. And it requires all participants in the MLS that have a buyer to have a written agreement in place prior to touring a home. Now we'll get to the question about, does that mean at open houses I have to have someone sign something? We'll get to that question.
Does that mean even in the confidential remarks, we can't say anything?
No, Judy, you cannot put it in the MLS. N-O. You'll be ixnayed. Yes.
I went to the SDAR thingamabober that they did, and the confidential remarks, you can say, call agent for broker for compensation or for concessions, for buyer agent concessions.
Buyer agent concessions, right. You can probably do that language. That's a way around it.
In the confidential remarks, you can say.
What's the challenge behind calling the listing agent for concessions?
They actually answer their phone.
Steve, you're going to call every agent back in your listings?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a listing agent getting a call from another agent at 12 o'clock on a Saturday night?
Or Sunday.
Or Sunday.
Don't answer.
Yes.
Well, and we're required to let the at one point we were, tell me if this is still true, required to let the buyers know what the compensation is for each property we're showing them. Is that still?
There is no offer of compensation.
Well, the thing, there's no offer from them, but there is sometimes, right? And we're required to let the buyers know.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's
Right.
full disclosure.
So in order for us to show properties, we have to be able to contact the listing agent and make sure that it's available and know what they're willing to pay us, or whether the buyer's paying us out of their pocket before we show the property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to repeat that? I mean, just the humor and all that. That every listing agent's going to call you back and tell you, yes, the seller's offering you 2.5% concession. Yes.
Is there any, direction as far as besides our website, other options? Like my thought is, if we set up an automated email just for agents, contact us here to get more information about our listings and then put it there. Or alternatively, the other thought I had was showing time technically is not the MLS. So that's
I'll get to that, save that question when I get to the broker compensation advisory.
Okay.
But if you do get that, what you want to do is get it in writing via email.
From the seller. From
the listing agent. And I think that's what's going to happen. Kelly.
Okay, don't shoot the messenger, okay? I've learned something new. So this is from an agent on the East Coast. So if they say Y-Y, that means 2.2%.
I told you, agents will figure a way around it.
Let's create a
And they're putting in the confidential remarks, so Y-Y.X.
Yeah.
That's
Way around it. So here's about written agreements, you guys. Written agreements. So this is your buyer broker agreements. This is your listing agreements. So the MLS is responsible for enforcing the rules, the written rules, but they're not required to keep a copy of these agreements. But you guys will be uploading all your BRBCs into Command. This is going to be your protection mechanism. You're required to keep every transaction document, whether they go into escrow or whether the escrow fails or not. We have to keep a record of it per DRE. But my recommendation is create an opportunity for every one of your buyers and upload all of the BRBCs in there. Okay, even if before you take them out. So we have the opportunity already in Command. We know what their price range is. So then Command can be utilized for what it was meant. You can log into your dashboard and see how much your projected income is based upon all the buyers you have in there. And then that dashboard is actually your daily activities. Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to get into escrow? Okay?
Broker Bob?
Yes.
How does
Who's ringing?
You broke off?
Touch it on the computer. Broker Bob?
No, it was on the.
No, I didn't see it.
Yes.
Yeah. How does it affect the clear cooperation? There's a whole section on clear cooperation regarding signs and all sorts of other issues. If you're not required to.
We haven't even addressed that on the calls, but I'm sure that will be addressed coming up. Yeah. So news to follow on that. A written agreement must be in place if the agent is working with the buyer, and a written agreement does not necessarily mean an agency agreement. So what does that mean? It doesn't necessarily mean you've consummated agency by having them as exclusive. They can also be non-exclusive. And you can, but the BRBC will be changed, so I'm not sure what that will look like. Working with a buyer does not mean just talking with them at an open house, for instance. So you're not necessarily working with them. So for an open house, CAR will be creating a form for people to sign when they come into an open house. It's not created yet. News to follow on that. So between now and August 17th, when I do risk management, my hope is everybody be here if you're not tied into STR training, because this is where you're going to know a lot of this, your practices you're going to need. Okay. And then seller concessions, so the big item then is on procuring cause. Who knows what procuring cause is? You're looking at getting paid because you showed that buyer a home, right? You were the first one to introduce that buyer to that home. And all of a sudden you find out that that buyer used another agent. And you come to me and say, Broker Bob, I had a buyer that I showed this home to, and they used somebody else to buy the home. And what's my first question I ask? Did you have a buyer broker consummated? No. Well, that's question one, and that makes it harder to reinforce. So with the new changes with the law NAR agreement, the recurring cause is going to change a little bit. So here's what CAR is saying. There will still be procuring cause disputes in certain scenarios. Whether the intro broker wins in the scenarios will depend on weighing all procuring cause factors, and these are situations where a complaint is possible. Right now there's like 25 different elements of a procuring cause, and you go through and answer, yes, I did this, I did this, I did this. And then you go in front of the board, and the board determines, or the committee on the board, and they determine, yeah, you deserve the commission. But you don't always prevail. So the intro broker has a written representation agreement with the buyer. That's the first thing they have to have. And before submitting an offer on behalf of the buyer, the intro broker gets an offer of compensation in writing from the listing broker. So when Bridget asked, how do we confirm? You're confirming with the listing agent what is the offer of compensation or concessions from the seller. And they email it back to you. That makes your case really strong. Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't there a form for that too? A document?
There is. Well, there's the CBC, but you usually do that when you're submitting it. You're submitting the offer. You haven't got to that part yet. Okay? If a different broker is the closing broker, the intro broker can file a procuring cause complaint against the closing broker claiming entitlement to the compensation that was offered by the listing broker in writing. That's the strongest case for procuring cause. You have the agreement, you confirm with the listing agent what the commission is, it's in writing, and you see it. Okay? Even if the offer of compensation was made orally by the listing broker to the intro broker rather than made in writing, the intro broker could have a procuring cause claim. However, it will be more difficult for the intro broker to meet their burden of proof in this scenario. And this is what I walked through you guys with, but prior to this, when we say, do you have a real procuring cause that can be proven? And then we determine whether or not, great, are we going to proceed with this? 95% of the time, you don't have any documentation to prove it. All you have is your word that you showed that home to that buyer. So you have to have documentation to CYA.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did anybody ever do this? Because I had this situation and I'm not sure if I should do something about it or not.
That's a separate case. Can we address that later so we can get through this? I don't want to talk about individual scenarios right now.
No, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to know if anybody had that experience.
Oh, there's lots of people in this brokerage that have done that.
Oh.
In the years that I've been here, and I asked them, where's your documentation?
No, I have everything documented. I have documentation. I just.
Next thing, listing broker has an offer of compensation for a listing on their website to any broker who procures a buyer resulting in the creation of a purchase contract. The intro broker takes several steps to procure a buyer, such as showing them a property and or submitting an offer on the buyer's behalf. If a different broker is the closing broker, intro broker can file a procuring cause complaint against the closing broker claiming entitlement to the compensation that was offered by the listing broker on their website. And then the next one, listing broker makes an offer of compensation on their website to cooperating brokers, but the offer is conditional. Do you know what conditional would mean? Get an escrow by week 2, you'll get X dollars or X percent. If a different broker is the closing broker rather than the intro broker would only be able to prevail in a procuring cause if they can meet the burden of proof to show that they have met all the conditions that would entitle them to the compensation. On the other hand, if the listing broker is not offering any compensation to a cooperating broker but is instead only offering seller concessions that a buyer could use to pay their broker, there cannot be a procuring cause claim against the broker. Understand that? Yeah. The intro broker's only claim would be against the buyer in a scenario where the closing broker receives compensation from the buyer, but the intro broker believes they should be entitled to that. Was that confusing?
Yeah.
What's your takeaway?
Documentation.
Document.
One at a time. Raise your hand.
I think I was at SDAR yesterday and they said there's a new form for that as well. So the NBIP.
The NPBB.
Yeah.
Yes.
NBIP.
Oh, the NBIP?
Mm-hmm. It's a new form.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And I think they're introducing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new forms.
Right.
Along
And
with the new DRW.
for safety, I did not bring them up today because it's too many forms being introduced. I just want to get through this scenario. What's my message of today?
Documentation.
Well, what else though?
It's
Transparency.
difficult.
What's that?
It's difficult.
Piss difficult?
It's Very difficult.
Oh, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's really important now for you guys to understand that the industry will change rapidly on how you deal with principals. You get that now. You're not just putting your buyer in a car and taking them out on Saturday and showing them houses that you met the day before without having a serious conversation with them about their what needs and wants and values are. And then you are articulating your value on how you're going to help them with their needs and wants and values. It's going to level up the industry in such a way that the agents that aren't able to level their business up will be out of the business. The advantage of what we have here is we train you really well. And so in a company like this that provides the training, you're fairly safe because you have the knowledge, the skills, which will give you the skills and give you the understanding of how to go out and navigate through this very challenging time. But would you agree that there's agents out there that need to go back to school a little bit? Yes. So, I mean, we're hoping that a lot of that will go out of the business. By natural selection, there's already agents that are getting out. They're doing other stuff and realizing that maybe this isn't for me. So BRBC, the scope of representation, get it right so you can get paid. That's the title, and that's also the title of this document that I want you to go through and the stuff when we send it out. Click on the link and read it, please. Some of the things that you need to be aware of with your BRBC, the first place is the length of the representation period. How long is it going to be now?
3 months.
3 months. 3 months. And then what happens if it goes after 3 months?
Extension?
You do a modification of terms of your BRBC extending the date another 3 months.
Is 3 months the rule or the rule that you're saying?
It's the rule. They can be no longer than 3 months.
I think it can be shorter than 3 months.
It'd be shorter than 3 months. So, and this will be enshrined in California law for this as well. The second thing to keep in mind is the definition of the property to be acquired. So right now, I see BRBCs that you'll put San Diego County, I saw one yesterday, 500 to 2 million. That's a pretty broad range, right? Okay. So here's what they say about that. It contains various fields for you to set forth the parameters of the property that the buyer is interested in, i.e. single-family residential, vacant land, location, counties and cities, and any other additional criteria such as price range. Striking a balance between a definition that is too narrow and too broad is important. If the definition is too narrow, it may be very difficult for you to find a property for your client that would also entitle you to compensation. If the definition is too broad, such as any property in the state of California, a court may find that the definition is not enforceable.
So you can't just write to be determined anymore.
Dude. You're gonna have to spend a little time on writing that document. Sorry, Russ.
Well, but it's even more than that. You have to spend time getting to know the client so that you understand what their needs are, rather than just picking up and going.
Yeah, and unfortunately what happened in this market is agents were writing San Diego, Riverside, Orange County, because as inventory shrunk, you were finding that if you had a buyer that was only up to a certain price range, you said, let's look at Temecula, let's look at Hemet, Menifee. You just keep going north.
I have a buyer like that. They're looking at Menifee and Chula Vista and everything in between.
Yeah.
2-bedroom townhomes to 4-bedroom houses from 400,000 to 800,000. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
I said to her, I was showing, go get your real estate license. You're really good at looking at houses. I said, so what do I do with that? Like, I don't even know what they want. What do I do with that?
Yeah, maybe you do multiple BRBCs.
One for every city and one for every price point.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. There are no buyers like this. Well,
I know what I would do.
They're real people.
I know what I would do.
Fire them.
Well, I'd refer them to my best enemy.
He's amazing. All over the board.
Seriously.
So read through this BRBC. The next one is the real estate commissions. Oops. So the real estate commission agreements, which is basically your listing agreement and your VRBC. The agreement needs to be in writing if it's for the sale or purchase of a property. If the agreement is exclusive, it must contain a definite termination date. For the VRBC, it's 3 months. Do you know how long you could take a listing agreement for?
A year?
2. Be no longer than 2. Do you know why that was changed? Used to be able to do it indefinitely. So about 2 years ago,
It's not a real contract if there's no way.
2 years ago, this company came into California and went to these preyed on older people, and they said they offered them money or something, and in offering that money for something like solar or something, they put a lifetime listing agreement on the property. And so if that person ever went to go sell, they had to name this one company to be their listing agent. Well, the legislature caught up on that and they wrote a law so that they took care of it that way. And then we did discuss this last week. I presented it, but I want to review the 4 things to know about the new broker compensation advisory form that just came out. This is bundled in your listing agreements as well as your VRBC template packages. So you should be reviewing this with your principals prior to them signing it. Just don't send it to them and say sign here. You need to review the documents they're going to sign. So the BCA is a 1-page form that can be used to explain to your clients how brokers get paid. If it's broken down into 3 sections. Issues for a seller and their agents to consider, issues for a buyer and their agent to consider, and different ways in which the buyer's broker can get paid. This form will be used with both seller and buyer clients, and of course it's bundled with the packages I just told you. If you're the listing agent representing a seller, how can you use the BCA? Well, first, you discuss paragraph 1 of the BCA with your client to explain that when sellers list their property for sale through a listing broker, they agree to pay the listing broker when escrow closes. The listing broker's compensation is not set by law, and it's negotiable between the seller and the listing broker. And various considerations can be factored in, such as the broker's expertise and experience in offering compensation to a buyer's broker is optional, but may lead to a quicker and more efficient transaction. That's kind of like the dialogue you're going to have with your sellers when you're sitting down for listings. By the way, what's your best argument for why they want to offer compensation to a buyer's broker?
You want to motivate them to show the property.
Why else? So who took the value square proposition? How many things did they come up with? 13. 13 different reasons why a seller would want to pay a buyer's broker. The buyer's broker is going to vet the buyer. The buyer's broker is going to make sure that that buyer can afford to buy. They sat down and did a consultation with them. 13 of them. We'll teach that, but you should be listening to that because those are your 13 reasons why you are going to convince that seller to pay a buyer's broker. If you're the buyer's agent representing a buyer, how can you use the BCA? Well, you're going to discuss paragraph 2 of the BCA. You're going to discuss having a written buyer representation agreement is important as it establishes mutual expectations and helps to avoid misunderstandings. And you and your client will need to come to an agreement on how much the buyer's broker will be paid. And explain to your client that a seller may, but is not required to, authorize their broker to offer compensation to a broker's buyer. Okay? Questions on that one? I love the next form. Oh, open houses. This was a specific question addressed, and it's on the NAR link. You just click on that link on their FAQ on question 56. By the way, there's 95 of them. Every question that they thought was important that agents should know, there's 95. If an MLS participant hosts an open house or provides access to a property on behalf of the seller only to an underrepresented buyer, will they be required to enter into a written agreement with those buyers during the home? The answer is no, right at this moment. But CAR is coming up with a buyer non-solicitation affirmation. I've come up with one temporarily that you'll be giving to the buyers that you haven't formed the BRBC with.
Have you already sent that?
It's in the documents. You got a link to it. It's all in there. But here's the question, And the biggest concern for you guys, what you should get in the habit of asking every buyer you talk to, have you established a written relationship with any other agent? By the way, you're supposed to be doing that now.
Anyway.
You're supposed to be asking, and that prevents procuring cause. But for every buyer you're working with moving forward, you're going to ask the question, have you established a working relationship in writing with another agent? And what will they usually say? Well, I don't know.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean? So this buyer non-solicitation affirmation is going to help you. This letter shall serve to confirm that you personally requested that a representative, this is the buyer, representative from Keller Williams Realty San Diego Metro met with me to establish a business relationship and to view or introduce me to properties for lease or purchase, mostly for purchase. In seeking representation from KW San Diego and its agents, and by signing below, I hereby affirm that I am not subject to any type of exclusive or non-exclusive representation agreement with any other real estate broker or agent to provide the same or similar service as requested from KW San Diego Metro.
So is that for every person that comes to an open house?
To be announced.
Represented person.
To be announced. CAR says they're going to come up with a document like this, and we'll wait and see how they do it.
But let's say it's a couple that's coming through. They both need to sign one, or like.
To be announced. To be honest, I don't have the answer to that.
That's okay.
Yeah, they're coming up with it. All right, and they'll give advice on how to use it. Here's my theory on open houses, though. I think what's going to happen is because basically, if Steve has a listing and I'm an agent in this office and I want to hold Steve's listing open, I can do that easily because I'm representing the seller because I'm under this license here. I think what's going to happen is brokerages as a whole are going to say we don't allow outside agents to hold our listings open.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. You're seeing it already. Okay. We are now putting that policy in place. We can only have agents of Keller Williams Realty hold listings of ours open.
And to be clear, Keller Williams Metro or Signature?
Well, there's no signature. It's all Metro. It's all one license right now.
But really not for like La Jolla or anything?
La Jolla is another who said that?
They're just like going for it.
So La Jolla is another brokerage.
So
our policy here is only agents that here can hold our listings open.
Keller Williams Signature.
Metro. Metro and its signature, we all folded into one. It's all Metro.
Right, you said Keller Williams Realty, and that kind of made us.
Keller Williams San Diego Metro.
Okay. What is the reason for that? Right.
The reason is because if I'm an agent and I want to hold Steve's listing open and I'm part of the brokerage, we're now an agent for the seller. And so we're allowed to have buyers walk in the door and discuss with that buyer for the seller. Because we're not working for that buyer yet. We're still working for the seller. And a buyer can ask us questions about a property in the name of the seller. But the buyer can't all of a sudden start creating agency with me unless I have a written agreement with them.
You can write it out right there in the spot, just be right there.
But can we have, as agents, hold things for others?
Yes. But I'm telling you, I think that's where the industry is going to go. I think that's what brokerages are going to do. We already see it at some of the bigger ones in San Diego. They don't allow you to come in and do an open house, do they? I haven't implemented that policy here because I'm like, eh. But I think that's where it's going to go because of the new changes. So what does that mean? What should you do?
Get more listings.
Exactly. Amy wins the prize. Get more listings. Be the listing agent. Bridget.
Oh, I know that some of our agents take listings out of San Diego County, so that's something that I think we need to be aware of as well. When you take listings, nobody in this brokerage might want to hold it open. And so, like, whereas normally you'd have like somebody from KW Temecula or whatever hold your listing open.
Can we co-list it with them then? And just give them like this much of a split off of our listing?
Most agents do that because they need to have the MLS. If it's not reciprocal, they need it in the MLS up there. Now, this is Broker Bob's theory or thought that this. I know a lot of brokers, like Dan said, they're already changing their method, but I think as we evolve through this new method of doing business, this is probably what's going to happen. These aren't my laws, so don't look at me. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you what's going on in the industry.
Yeah.
We upgrade it, we make some changes, it's going to be better moving forward, and as we navigate through this, we'll probably stumble and make mistakes. Between now and August 17th, come to anything I say and talk about to help you guys kind of educate and train. Judy?
Well, I do a lot of open houses in Chula Vista. I call a lot of people, and I know a lot of agents down there, and they let me do their open houses. So if I were to have an open house, and I were to meet somebody that wasn't otherwise attached to another broker, should I tell them that they need to become my client right away? Or should I?
Well, guidance on CAR from open houses, once they release the document, I'll be able to let you know how that's going to fish
So we're
out.
still working on that question?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
This is just guidance for now, as I know today. Could change tomorrow. Kelly?
My experience with Keller Williams Burbank, their managing broker basically don't allow their agents to hold other companies use these open houses only because when an agent that is not the listing agent hosting the home, they could be releasing some information regarding the home, and that puts some sellers liable.
Yeah. It's a dispute. It's something I haven't wanted to implement it. It's been on the back burner for a long time, and I've kept pushing it and pushing it back and pushing it back. But it also is an E&O issue. And yeah, an agent coming in could say something about the house that might not be true and could put the seller at risk. And all of a sudden that seller has a claim against you because all you did want to do is hold an open house, but you gave the wrong information. And now that broker is liable. Applications being accepted right now for backup broker. Bridget?
Alicia.
Every time I sit on one of these calls, I told Mark the other day, I just want to crawl into covers. Deal with this shit.
I have a question. Do you foresee an opportunity that, right now it's individual brokers, so we're each individual franchises, and as compared, but we have this huge national brand, and then there's other brands that have one broker, multiple offices, so it's a different scenario for them because it's only one broker. Do you think something will change in the future where as a franchise, even though we have different brokers, but we're the same brand?
I'm trying to change California real estate law, and I don't have the answer to that.
No, she's talking about some type of agreement between the offices.
Yeah.
It's not the agreement. I'm talking about broker liability and laws. Because I'm responsible for all of you guys, and La Jolla broker is responsible for them.
Right.
But she's talking about Compass has one broker. They have multiple brokers. They have one for the entire state. Yeah.
Right. Or Berkshire, they have one for so.
They have a lot bigger legal department, I can tell you. I know that because they're constantly sued. I do know that. They tell me.
They also don't pick up their phone very much, which made them move here.
So, that's good news, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's excited about today?
Yeah.
All right, let's try to deliver some fun and enthusiasm. Let's do the drawing.
Okay. Let me do this drawing.
Let's be present to win.
Well, okay, so on that note, just so everybody knows, before you pick it, we sold some tickets before we made the rule that you have to be present to win. So there are some people that bought tickets prior to that, and I have told them they purchased prior to that rule of must be present to win. Their name and phone number is on here. If they win, they are still a winner. So we can't change the rules partway through the raffle. So this prize that BB is pulling is for a coaching session with Sarah.
Yang.
Me?
Nice. can win more than one. So the next prize is 2 months of an office bill waived. Don't look, baby.
I'm taking donations on my pocket.
Someone feed him some chocolate.
Alicia.
Okay, the next one is for $100 Cutco gift card from Eric Gilman.
Jeff Brown. I gotta put these last two back.
Okay, and this last one in this
They're
pool
gonna think I'm doing
is
this on
for
purpose.
a headshot. Photo headshot. Yes, we see all the $100. So this is for the photo gift
Alicia,
card.
you need a new one because your high school photo's not working.
I look good.
Bring it.
Manny, where is he? God, you went twice today.
You can make negotiations and trade.
Can I trade it from that?
Now we got the new one.
So we still have 2 more prizes. I will tell you guys, they did the math, they were country numbers in the back. And our goal was $870, and the team let me know that we raised over $1,500. This is for a numerology session with BB.
Keith E?
Keith Edwards.
That doesn't look like an eye. It looks like L. It's like cleft.
Okay, and this last one, you guys get in touch with him because he was one of the ones that did it early.
Okay.
And this last one is for the coaching session at the University Club with Ashley Lund.
Who won the first? What was the first prize?
The first one was your prize.
Oh, okay. Again, Keith.
Oh, Keith, another one.
Oh, wow.
Keith's a big winner. He was, in his defense, he was the very first person to send in money and sent in, I think, $100.
Probably won't do. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, cool.
So congratulations to everybody who won
I don't know.
I don't know.